This time on Low Boost, we're putting a new rear end in our 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck. In the last episode, we got the transmission back from being built to handle the power this 408 stroker is going to make and put it back into our 1953 Ford F100. We still have some things to do before we can even attempt to start this up, and we're going to do some of that today. The main one being the rear end on the 1953 Ford F100. It had a Dana 44, and that is now gone. The Ford 9-inch rear end that we have does need some modifications to it, so we're going to have to tackle that. I still have a ton of wiring to do, as you can see here, but it's all mainly run to where it needs to be. Now, when you're going to take her out of rear end, it's really hard to film, so we had to do it off camera. I undid the shackles and took the wheels off, and you're able to slide it out of the side of the vehicle, as you can see the big hole right there. My cousin Alan was able to come up and help us out a little bit with this. If we're working on an old Ford, he's going to be there. He loves them, loves working on them, and has probably forgotten more about old Fords than I'll ever know. So it's always great to have my cousin Alan help us out. Engineering.
So here I am. We're taking out the old Dana 44 that was originally in this pickup. We are actually able to use the brakes that were on it because it has the old Ford style bolting pattern. And we are putting that on our new 9-inch that we've had lying around that, you know what, it'll fit perfect right inside.
The best way to take off a rear end is to undo the two shock bolts that connect the shock to the axle. And then these two silver loops that come down, those are your carriage bolts that hold it on. There's 4 bolts on each side. You undo those and then you can slowly drop it down. And with the wheels off, you can slide it out of the side of the car. You don't want to go down. You can slide it right out, pop it, and get it out of the car that way. Alan is an encyclopedia of knowledge. He was right. The shoes, drums, and everything fits right on the 9-inch that came off the Dana 44, so we're able to get it back into the truck easily. There's still one more thing we got to do to finish this project off completely. Don't mind the ratchet straps, we have it like that because we have to remount the axles. This is not obviously off of an F100. So I have to re-weld these to a specific spot. We're gonna measure and find out where it was on the other car, cut these off and do it. And then we just have to get a drive shaft made, and then we should be good to go. At least on the drive line. This episode is brought to you by these awesome wheel dollies. If you have a car, whether it's running or not, and you have limited garage space in your garage, definitely get these wheel dollies. You can push it up against the wall. You can move the car around anywhere, any which way you want. This is a 2,900-pound Mustang that I am moving around the garage with relative ease. And I'll put a link to this in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. And buying it through those links helps the channel a lot. We really appreciate it. So apologies if we installed the 9-inch rear off camera. It is a pain to do this by yourself or with one person and not have the camera on. But we have to put these brackets that we got here. They're from SoCal Speed Shop, I think. And these brackets, we'll just have to weld there for the shock. And I don't think the rear end is straight on, so I'm actually gonna measure the distance between here and here is the same on the other side. And this should give us decent geometry. This should give me decent geometry for the shock. I don't have it perfectly 90 degrees. I have it over a little bit. Should give us some decent travel. And what's cool about this is it's adjustable. If you're looking for a way to support the channel and you're looking for a cool t-shirt, check out these Just LS Swap It t-shirts that I'm selling. It has a cartoon of my E36 Turbo LS Swap on the front of it. Comes in all different colors and sizes, and you can even get it on a long sleeve t-shirt as well. I'll put a link to this in the description below. You'll get free shipping through Amazon Prime, regardless of the order size. With that measured up and in the proper place, I was able to get a couple tacks on there. I used the jack to hold it where it needed to be because obviously the shock wants to push it down. But by using the jack that way, I was able to hold it, get a couple tacks on, then remove the jack out of the way and finish welding everything else all around. I just grinded off the metal where it was, and then I'll hit it with some black paint when we're all done with it. And I'm obviously going to grind it down. If you guys have seen my welding work in the past, We live by the slogan here, a grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. But I obviously can't get better at this if I don't practice and keep on going at it, so I enjoy doing it. And as I get better and better, my welds are getting better and better, and it's more of an experience thing for me at this point. It's also tough to get into a tight spot like this, so it's not going to be great, but it was able to get done and cleaned up okay after I grinded it down and slapped some paint on it. If you're interested in learning how to weld and you want a welder that you can grow into, I highly suggest the one that I have here. This is a Hobart 210 MVP. Not only does it run on a regular 220 outlet, you can also put it on a 110 if you don't have that set up in your house to have a 220. So it's a great welder to learn on. I'll put a link to it in the description below. You can get it on Amazon. There's a number of different accessories you can get with this welder, but it's a great one to start off with if you're just going to do some MIG welding. It's not a TIG welder, and I don't know how to do that yet, but I will eventually get to learn how to do that. All right, so don't mind the welds, but that's holding pretty good. I'm just going to let the paint dry and then hold them up. They're adjustable, so we can adjust, which level we want. Stiffer or lighter suspension. I really want to see how the car drives. It's got a full Crown Vic front end, so it should drive pretty good. And leaf springs are pretty comfortable to drive into, so we'll see how it goes. The way that they used to be on the truck wasn't straight up and down. They were at a little bit of an angle, so I tried to keep it consistent with that. Having the adjustability on these shocks with this mount is going to be good too, because I'm really not going to know how this is going to be until after I'm driving it. So we just kept it in one setting. After we drive it, we'll adjust it as we go, but it's done. So now that is all on, everything is buttoned up. The rear end is back on. We will be getting different wheels, but these are the same wheels that are on the Mustang. We just got different ones to go on. So next, I got to do brake lines. We're gonna wire it up. If you look inside, I still got a lot of wiring to do. Everything's ran, I just gotta wire it all in. Put the ignition on. We'll get working on the interior of this thing. Gotta get the gas pedal, and then should be able to start trying to get close to firing this up. And I got a lot more to do. Holley Phytech EFI. So this is gonna be great once it's all done and ready. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because we're going to do a lot more videos on this in the upcoming weeks. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.